Today we're going to be checking out, where is America?
You would think we'd know because we're from America, right?
I don't know, people tell us different things every time.
Yeah.
Sometimes people get mad when we say we're Americans.
Yeah.
I don't know what we're supposed to call ourselves. United States Americans?
USAers.
Let's check out this video. Here we go.
America.
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 Americas.
Americans.
Americanos.
American.
Americano.
A merry-go-round.
Amerigo Vespucci.
An Italian.
All right.
Welcome to Map Men.
We're the men.
And here's the map. Map Men, Map Men.
The map, man.
Oh yeah.
The United States of America is a 5-word country.
States, United, the, and of are all self-explanatory, but the America part makes a lot less sense than you might think.
As we all know, America was discovered by Christopher Columbus in 1492.
And discovered is the right word because there definitely weren't people living there already.
And it was definitely him who discovered it, not the Chinese in 1421 or the Vikings around the year 1000. The China theory is heavily debated.
And it was definitely the United States of America he discovered in 1492, not some Caribbean islands.
Good to be clear.
It's also weird how, like, we do learn about the other discoveries and stuff and the Native Americans in school, but it is still weird how much of a pull Christopher Columbus has in, like, American education.
Yeah, it is. I mean, there's a whole day.
Yeah, he has Columbus Day.
Very odd.
Though Columbus had reached a new world, he never reached the realization he'd reached it.
He'd set out in search of an alternative route to the spices of the East Indies and wrongly thought he'd found one.
And so he named the Caribbean islands the West Indies because he'd sailed west to find them. Which is weird because if he thought about it and he had actually gone around the world and hit the East Indies, he'd have hit them on the east side. So he probably should have called them the East Indies. So if he had been right, the West Indies would...
Yeah, wait, if he called them the West Indies, but he thought it was where he was going, why would he name them something else at all?
Yeah. Wouldn't they just leave the name?
Yeah, okay.
Today be on the eastern side of the Indies, which is ridiculous.
But Columbus wasn't the only European who'd had a 15th century midlife crisis that involved buying a massive boat and sailing west until he'd come to terms with his own mortality.
Just 1 year after Columbus first reached the South American mainland, Italian explorer Amerigo Vespucci got there second.
But the crucial difference between Vespucci and Chris, as people in the voyaging business referred to him, is Vespucci did know he'd reached a brand new continent, and word soon spread of an exciting new world.
Hear ye, hear ye! There's a brand new continent we knew nothing about until now, full of gold and spices and exciting new vegetables!
Mapmakers around
Oh,
the
they
world
committed to that. They got the bit right in the middle of the street there.
set to work creating new and up-to-date world maps, each with their own dreadful renderings of the increasingly but still not very discovered continent.
One of these mapmakers was a German called Martin Waldsee.
But still not very
That peninsula must have seemed so much bigger. The Baja California.
Must have.
discovered continent.
One of these mapmakers was a German called Martin Waldsee Müller, who in 1507 had all but finished his magnificent new world map. Except for
Nice.
one small detail: what to name the new continent everyone was talking about.
He very likely would have named it Columbia, after the widely agreed discoverer of the New World, Columbus. But Amerigo Vespucci had some very clever PR people who were falsifying documents and spreading lies about exactly when he'd reached the New World.
And these lies must have reached the ears of Martin Waldsee Müller.
You're listening to the Vespucci Hour on Explorer FM.
Amerigo, he got there first!
Because he made the fateful decision to label the new continent America.
Latin for Amerigo.
Waldsee Müller published his map complete with an unnecessarily long Latin title.
Complete map following of Ptolemy, the tradition, and of Amerigo Vespucci, of others, also the illustrations.
If you zoom
Oh,
into his map
wow.
more carefully, you can see the little word America in what we now call modern-day Brazil. It was the first time that made-up word had been used anywhere by anyone ever.
Nobody knows why Martin named it after Amerigo's fairly common first name rather than the Vespucci part. It's a bit like if I discovered a continent and they named it Markland instead of the more enticing sounding Cooper World Jonesania.
One part of the New World that Martin clearly didn't give much thought to was this bit up here, which he drew super small and super inaccurate.
So it may surprise you to learn the inhabitants of this area were the people who, centuries later, cared the most about this map.
Fast forward 500 years to the 90s. Throughout the 90s, the United States tried desperately to get their hands on Waldsee Müller's map.
Because it contained the first use of the word America, the US considered it to be their birth certificate, not minding that it had actually been given to a different baby since they had no qualms about swapping babies even though they were now grown adults.
At the time, Waldsee Müller's map was sitting in a drawer in the private collection of Prince Johannes zu Waldburg, Wulfegg und Waldsee in Germany.
They wanted it so so much they paid $10 million for it, making Waldseemüller's map
Wow.
by far the most expensive map in history.
In 2007, the map finally earned its wrongful place on display in the United States Library of Congress. How a library was able to raise $10 million, we can only guess.
So how come America got to name itself America? You'd think that writing the Latin word America on Latin America would mean America should describe Latin America. So why is non-Latin USA allowed its A at all?
Part of the reason is that they achieved independence before any of the other 34 American countries.
In 1776, the 13 colonies that had been known as British America used their rifles to shotgun the name the United States of America.
Over time,
Okay.
the long name The United States of America got shortened to just America, which is how the English-speaking world almost exclusively refers to the United States today.
And as you might expect, or if you're an American, as you might never have given any thought to, this annoys a lot of people.
Whom does it annoy?
First,
We
Latin
know.
We know.
The Brazilians especially.
Yes, yes.
We've been making videos for a long time, and we did Brazil reaction videos at some point, and when we call it Americans react to Brazil, they would get pissed.
Yeah. And makes sense, but also,
We have nothing else to call ourselves.
yeah, the social context of it has gotten so far that when we're in other countries and people ask us where we're from, we always say the US, not America. But then they don't know what the US is
Yeah.
sometimes. Like in India, they don't know what the US is if you say the US, so we say America. And then they're like, oh.
Doesn't really matter that much,
No,
to
no,
be
no,
honest.
no.
Americans kind of fine, but you know.
In the Spanish-speaking world, the word America on its own always refers to the entire continent, and never the country, which they call
Los Estados Unidos.
They even set up a petition demanding Los Estados stop stealing their name and get a new one right now.
With 308 signatures, it's surely only a matter of time before
308.
America concedes.
Second, Canada. Canadians resent the USA arrogantly naming itself after their shared continent, but not as much as they resent being mistaken for Americans by people who can't tell their accents apart and confuse them with people who serve cheese out of a spray can.
Third, British people. Couldn't they just keep calling it British America? It had such a nice ring to it, if you're British.
Fourth, Chris Columbus. If the Americans do insist on naming their continent after a European explorer, Columbus, lest we forget, was actually there before Amerigo Vespucci. As it is, Columbus had to settle for the US capital, a province of Canada, another country, countless other towns and cities, and a national holiday. Poor guy.
And lastly, Amerigo Vespucci himself, who died never knowing these new lands were to bear his name in so many confusing and overlapping ways.
Wow.
So if the
That's
United
America
to bear his
right
name
there.
in
But the mustard is interesting. Because when we were in the UK, they served mustard with, when we were at the Bangers and Mash place, remember? The mustard there?
Yeah. What was it called?
It was like,
Wasn't it like British mustard or like
Yeah,
something
something-
specific like that?
yeah, something like that, to where that one says American mustard there.
Never seen that in my life.
No, I thought it was just mustard. The yellow stuff was mustard. But the one that we saw in the UK was different, and it was like a spicier, like had a kick, it said.
Yeah. That's how they describe it. If you want a kick, here's the mustard. Weird.
so many confusing and overlapping ways.
So if the United States of Americans did want to change their name, what on earth could they change it to? Any attempt at a rebrand would come with its own controversy, and of course it's hard
Hot
to imagine
50.
patriotic Americans
Hot
ever actually
Canada.
voting to be
Chad
called anything
2.
else.
Even though
Chad
it appears
3.
that the US Library of Congress spent $10 million on a map that suggests its country gave itself the wrong name, it looks like the USA of America will go on calling itself America for many years to come.
Classic America.
The USA of America.
Oh, hi. I didn't notice you there.
We got
you
an
just
ad
caught me
here?
buying some electrical tape online. That's right. You can even use the internet
the
to
rest
do
of
your
it's an ad?
shopping
Yeah.
these days.
Well, it is interesting. I mean, a lot of times, like the Brazilians would get all mad. And it's just like, it's just kind of how it is. We didn't really pick it.
Yeah, doesn't really matter that much.
Not really. It's just a name.
Yeah.
People
And
just like to get really pissed about stuff nowadays.
hearing about the history of it, it's very interesting on like how
Yeah.
it actually all came together and why it is the way it is today.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's about it. That's all we can say about this, because I'm a United Statesian now. I've been changed by this information.
There's a lot of people. I don't know. I'm not really somebody that like gets offended by things. Like people make fun of Americans all the time. I don't know why are the South Americans so angry?
Yeah, what's going
And
on?
what they call us gringos?
Yeah, that's bad.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Hopefully you enjoyed. Let us know what you think down in the comments below. See you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.